Hi, this is Hugh Evans, CEO of the Global Poverty Project, and I'm here with Rick Leach, who is the president of the World Food Program USA. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. So I'm interested in your reflections on the Global Citizen Festival last year. You were there, and you were on stage, and I was interested in what most excited you about the festival, and did it actually meet your expectations?
Well, I think there were a lot of things that excited me. Obviously, the people on the stage, but most importantly were the people in front of the stage and the people throughout the world watching. It provided a great opportunity to connect with a lot of new audiences, to help educate them about the issue of hunger, to involve them in efforts that we're involved in around the world.
And how did you feel they started to get involved in issues of hunger?
Well, we had, I think, well over 10,000 people signed up to participate in our efforts, and that meant doing work on advocacy. It meant helping us fund operations around the world. So an incredible success, bringing new people to the issue.
And what was it like yourself being on stage? And you were there with Jeffrey Sachs?
I was. I was almost had the incentive to pick up a guitar and actually start playing, but I realized I don't know how to play the guitar, so I decided not to. Actually, it was phenomenal. I mean, with Lauren Bush, Jeffrey Sachs, the whole group. I mean, it really was an incredible assemblage that really to talk about the key issues that impact people, and once again to give folks throughout the world an opportunity to participate.
So, for example, if we were to do it again in the future, how would we engage citizens in the specific work of the World Food Program USA from a legislative perspective? What could that look like, for example?
Well, we have on a day-to-day basis issues we're working on both before the Congress and with the administration. So as it pertains to issues before Congress, we would ask anyone, whatever state, whatever district they're in, to reach out to their particular member of Congress and ask them whether it be to fund a program, to authorize a new program, to pursue efforts in conjunction with administration reform. So there are very specific issues that we're working on a day-to-day basis, and we would love to have more people involved.
And do you believe that citizens actually can influence government?
There's no question. I can speak
Tell me why.
Well, I mean, here in the United States, I mean, which is obviously the system of government I know best, members are actually elected, and those voters determine whether that member goes back to Congress. So clearly they listen to their constituents. But even broader than that, our system of government is such that an individual organized and engaged can have a significant impact on what happens in Congress and with the administration. It is a system where it is the representative democracy, and people do have that great opportunity and responsibility to step up and to actually express their opinions.
So can you remind the audience exactly what commitment you made on behalf of the World Food Program USA on stage at the festival?
We committed to raise a minimum of $15 million to help address childhood malnutrition in Central America.
Fantastic. And how are you going with that commitment?
I'm happy to tell you we've already surpassed it.
Fantastic. Well done.
But we're not slowing down. It is... we actually two tracks. One is we sought to generate resources and affect policy, but also looking specifically at countries in Central America and how we might have an impact specifically in a country dealing with its own government and private sector.
Okay. So tell me a bit more. $15 million, what happened I heard there was some news from Guatemala.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about what actually happened.
Well, Guatemala is actually, and the reason we looked at Guatemala first is they suffer from the worst child malnutrition rates in Central America. In fact, they have the sixth worst child malnutrition rate in the world, third worst stunting rate in the world. Stunting is when a child doesn't grow properly.
Okay.
Afghanistan and Yemen have worse stunting rates than Guatemala. So we focused on Guatemala, actually met with political leadership in Guatemala, focused their attention on not only the problem, but also the solutions that they could put in place. I mean, I think that's part of the key is yes, we need to identify the problem, but also identify specifically what could be done. And to give them credit, they were right, the political leadership was there, the political will was strong, private sector was committed, and it was really a matter of lighting a fuse and helping focus them on what specific interventions should be undertaken, what a budget should look like that actually could fund these efforts, and they stepped up. I mean, it is incredible. The president of Guatemala ordered his entire cabinet to spend a weekend in the homes of those living in extreme poverty.
Wow.
Twice they did it.
Wow.
The first time 6,000 people throughout the country, those in wealth, went and stayed in the home of those in extreme poverty.
What happened?
changed their lives.
Amazing.
I mean, every person now, I'm talking about the president of Guatemala, their health minister, all of their senior ministers, they all have a story now about their family they were with.
That's great.
And so what we've seen in Guatemala around their focus on this, quote, the first 1,000 days, which is between pregnancy and age 2, which is really a critical period when children need to have proper nutrition, proper calories, it's transformed their country. I mean, it really is bringing people together in a way that was beyond imagination.
So if we ever were to do the festival again, how could global citizens rally behind this effort? Because it's so inspiring what you've said. It gives me the chills to hear that story of the whole cabinet of Guatemala spending a whole night living with those living in extreme poverty. This is really, life-changing stuff. So how can global citizens, get behind you to take this to a whole new level?
I think, just like in Guatemala, we did not compel them to step up. We provided information and then helped facilitate a process looking at the plans and so on. So I think there's a number of things that global citizens can do. One is help perhaps a country that someone might be living in that is suffering from a similar problem, make certain that people in leadership in their country, private sector and government, are aware of the problem and the steps that can be taken. In countries like the United States or Australia, where we don't have that particular problem, we could help ensure that our political leadership plays a leadership role globally with other nations, with other donors, or we could actually provide resources to help fund operations in countries where resources are needed.
So we ultimately want the Global Citizen Festival and all of our work on globalcitizen.org to have a lasting impact for our NGO partners involved, for the global citizens themselves, and ultimately for the world's extreme poor. I'm interested in, if you could leave one last message to everyone involved, what would that message be?
Extreme poverty and hunger are two sides of the same coin. And the fact is that we can, the world, individually, we can in fact solve hunger and address extreme poverty. There are solutions, and that if we commit to, in fact, putting those solutions in place, we can turn and transform hunger into hope and opportunity. We can turn extreme poverty into economic development. It's all within reach, and we can in fact do it.
Thank you so much for your time, Rick.
Thank you. Really appreciate your
Thank you.